Certainly, I'd like to start with a great big thank you to everyone for being here. It's a nice event, and I think you'll find out a lot of great information about what's going on in Scottsdale, certainly. But it's great to have you here. You know, this mayor and council breakfast is something we do periodically through the year, each year, for many years now, and we use it as a conduit, really, to get a direct conduit between myself and the full council. To be able to engage our community on different issues. Sometimes it's celebratory, and sometimes it is just informative. We're going to try to make it both, really, today, so we'll keep it on a high note all the way around. We very often come forward with a lot of bad news, but sometimes we do hear some. But in any case, I wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who has supported us in the effort, because our topic today really is economic and business development. And since the Great Recession, you know, that's an adjective I hate to apply to a recession. No, there's nothing great about a recession, but nevertheless, since that, we have had a concerted effort to try to work with our business community and reinvigorate our economic engine and recharge our community. And it's been an important aspect for our recovery. And so I want to thank everybody, because the city certainly doesn't do this on its own. There's an awful lot of moving parts in it, certainly, but it is our business and our residents who really have stood with us as advocates and promoters of Scottsdale as a place to be and want to be. We want to create that good environment, and certainly I think we have done in large part, but we continue on that quest as well. So thank everyone, and a lot of people in this room that have participated with us in supporting us in that effort. You know, I'd like to recognize first our Representative John Kavanaugh, who's here with us today. He's been an admirable supporter of the city in all of our efforts, and I want to thank him for that as well. And I would also want to make sure that I mention and thank for all the support in these efforts as well, my full council. And of course, with us today, I think we have all the council members. If I make a confirmation on that, but I'm pretty sure we have all. Council members Suzanne Clapp, Virginia Cordy, Bob Littlefield, Linda Milhaven, Dennis Robbins, and our Vice Mayor, Guy Phillips, who will be speaking to you a little bit later on some topics that are near and dear to him, and frankly to our community. It's been a great year for economic development in Scottsdale, and it's been a number of years in the works, but certainly these things are coming together in a very nice way. In the past few years, we've made a concerted effort and demonstrated significant progress in creating a more open and welcoming business environment. And this includes attracting innovative new technology companies and firms into our downtown. And I think we have a piece on that.
It's a great place to start a company. I think it's pretty unique as far as, you know, what's being offered here in Scottsdale versus different locations. You know, as far as startups, I see Scottsdale in the next 2 to 3 years being a huge startup hub. So if we can get a density of emerging technology companies in one location, I mean, I think that's pretty powerful for the city.
So I have a saying that I love, which is attitude is more important than aptitude. In the case of Scottsdale, we actually get both. As I said, we've got a bunch of very smart, eager young employees who want to contribute and learn. So they've got that attitude, but they also have the aptitude and the skills, and so it's a powerful combination.
Scottsdale's been a great spot for us, not only because of the tremendous workforce we're finding there, the talent is super, but it also gives us the opportunity to serve more families out west with times that are convenient to them.
We also experienced growth in several firms in our Scottsdale Air Park area, such as Accolade, which is in the first wave of expansion in late 2013, and relocated more than 30 employees from their headquarters in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. I think we have a specific one on Accolade, or did we already cover that with, we got that one covered. I also had the pleasure of organizing and hosting the first Cure Corridor event and launched a strategy aimed at raising greater awareness of this concentration of cutting-edge biomedical research, clinical trial activity, and world-class patient care delivery. And from the Scottsdale Air Park down down along Shea Boulevard, all the way out to the ASU Mayo Medical School out near 136th Street, which we'll be developing there. And with that, a little bit of a view on the Cure Corridor.
Scottsdale is one of the most livable cities in the country, a place to live, learn, work, and play. Leaders in retail, corporate headquarters, software and technology, healthcare and biomedical industries called Scottsdale home, and more are coming every day. Today, this once dusty suburb is a biomedical marvel, home to the Scottsdale Cure Corridor, where leading doctors and scientists are taking cancer research from the bench to the bedside to deliver world-class patient care.
The Cure Corridor, as it's evolved, has really demonstrated the ability to draw greater numbers of research professionals, as well as researchers focused on what we're most interested in, which is curing cancer.
The Cure Corridor is more than a place. It's a collaborative of people for people, led by Scottsdale Healthcare, Mayo Clinic, and TD2, the drug development arm of TGen, the scientists who first cracked the human genetic code. Working together, they are developing breakthrough treatments for cancer that impact people right here in Scottsdale, across the country, and around the world.
In our program alone, we've had patients from 48 states and 24 countries that have come here as a destination site for their care.
This coalition of collaborative care includes cutting-edge research, treatment, medical and pharmaceutical development, as well as manufacturing, education, and life enrichment opportunities not found in any other city in the U.S.
We've had excellent success in collaborating with industry, both locally and internationally here at Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale. We see our partnership with them as some of the keys to our success.
This is a fantastic city in which to conduct business. Not only is it a sophisticated community, but it's a community that is friendly, open, and welcoming. It's a can-do atmosphere here in Scottsdale.
You know, just on an additional note on that, of course, we've got Scottsdale Healthcare now joining with John C. Lincoln, is now Scottsdale Lincoln Health Network, which is here in Scottsdale as well. So it's all brought together here under the Cure Corridor as well. And one other thing to note, I suppose, is that the Cure Corridor and the biomedical and biotechnical aspects of what we're developing here really is a completely consistent add to a sense this community always has had about developing and building on healthcare in our community here. So that business is entirely and tightly woven into our fabric as a community. Finally, Scottsdale has also had a good fortune to see many of our existing companies experience tremendous growth and to choose to keep that growth here in Scottsdale. Even some of the more recent arrivals over the last few years have experienced that growth, such as Vanguard, who's been here actually for a longer period of time, and you'll be hearing from Paul Heller of Vanguard here just a little bit. But others like ZocDoc have found that they can find larger space and move and adapt and grow right here in Scottsdale and have that desire to do it, because we do believe, and I think they've come to conclude, that we're a great platform for where they can operate and thrive. In downtown, we have also Magellan, a behavioral health provider, probably a one or two in its field, one of the larger ones. They just moved their headquarters from Connecticut to Scottsdale. We're in the process of doing that right now as we live and breathe. So all in all, there's a lot of positive economic news at Scottsdale. And we do have Danielle Casey, our Economic Development Director, who will come up in a little while to discuss some of the more specific points of impact to Scottsdale and to the region of what's developing here. So now, I'd like to shift gears a little bit and introduce our Vice Mayor, Guy Phillips. And as you may know, he is a small business owner here in Scottsdale himself and has been for many years, and is very supportive of everything that benefits our small business community here in Scottsdale. And he's going to be briefly telling you about some of the environment that we've created here in Scottsdale, and certainly some of the programs and some of the policies that we're looking to continue to reform and create a more positive environment even yet. So with that, Vice Mayor, if you'd come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. My brief statements are about 20 pages long, so we'll try to cut some of these down. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for attending this morning. We're going to have some morning calisthenics, so if you'd all get up. All right, never mind. We won't. I'm delighted to speak on behalf of Scottsdale's small business community. I'm excited about Scottsdale's potential, and I hope you are too. When I started my AC company in Scottsdale back in '97, I was surprised by the city's commitment to see that I was successful. I now want to share that success and help other small businesses get their foot in the door as well. It takes courage, perseverance, capital, and community to succeed, and that's what Scottsdale is all about. We all know that small business is the backbone of the community, and according to the SBA, the small businesses generated 64% of net new jobs over the past 15 years and employed just over half of all private sector employees. To bring it closer to home, dollars that are spent locally tend to stay in the community and create up to 75% more tax revenue to our city and state. For us, that means that business and sales tax accounted last year for 28% of all of our city revenues. That's more than $163.7 million. As a small business owner myself, I'm proud to contribute to those numbers, live in and represent the community that consciously values small business. And that support comes in many forms. Some say that government should get out of the way. I believe we can be the cheerleaders and to promote your small business. A good example of that is Small Business Saturday, the Saturday right after Thanksgiving, where we encourage our residents and visitors to remember to shop at locally owned stores. How do we accomplish this? By holding events in downtown Scottsdale and an intensive marketing campaign. Of course, Small Business Saturday has become a trend across the nation, but Scottsdale was the very first community in Arizona to embrace the concept of using this date to heavily promote Shop Local. What is equally important, especially in today's business climate, is Scottsdale's ability to grow and operate businesses that can compete and be successful. At the city, we are working hard to address your concerns and have adopted innovative ways to remove barriers that impede your small business development. We are streamlining our planning and permitting process and to shorten times between submittals and approvals. We've gone digital, so someone that needs to make physical improvements to a space before they open their business can largely do this online now. We've offered the option of no-cost preliminary review, which provides personalized attention to large projects. And the city's planning and development team has done much more to make the development process much less onerous. The city's tax and license and revenue recovery teams are also streamlining their process and have more focused and individual approach to customer service. I've also made some small business reform suggestions to our city manager, and he has indicated a willingness to implement some of these changes within the next 6 months. The changes include employing technology to increase efficiency, for example, using a one-stop mobile app for inspections, the prospect of self-certification, reducing regulation, increasing personnel competence and productivity, and incentive programs which will result in a quality product for planning. I have committed myself to the phrase, Scottsdale is open for small business. And I'll continue to work on ways to help you open your doors sooner. Let me just say here, though, this is not just solely city and staff. We're open to suggestions as well, so please feel free to reach out should you have any other ways that we can improve our business, and we look forward to your input. A byproduct of innovation is that it helps drive economic growth. That's why the city's economic development team recently added some new services for small businesses and entrepreneurs in Scottsdale. The exciting and inventive new business training program is being well received by presenters and attendees. This program was designed to offer informative, topical information on a range of subjects, including modern marketing, keeping your business safe, plans and perks, and the tax simplification process. If you'd like more information about this series or any other program I mentioned today, please contact our Economic Development Department. We understand that we grow jobs by helping small business. Now there's another new and exciting endeavor and worthy of mention. It's called the Eureka Loft. It combines elements of co-working spaces with expert library fact-finding services and ASU startup resources in one place, where innovators, entrepreneurs, and others can gather to share ideas and work together. This is kind of a mini Sky Song. And this video explains it best.
It really brings home that sense of community. And for me, it was really, really important to feel that. And I found a community here that cherished and valued what I had to bring to the table. And so my big aha moment was the community that was built around Eureka. The best thing that's come out of Eureka, in my experience, is all of the entrepreneurs that have taken off as of coming to these groups and coming to the classes here. I see a lot of people getting the information, running with it, coming back and telling us their success story. And for me, that's what it's all about. The type of people that should come to Eureka are anyone who is thinking of starting a business or is full-flown business. They will get something out of any programming that happens here in the Eureka throughout the week. I've seen consultants, I've seen small business owners with 50+ employees. So anyone who comes, anyone who has a business or wants to start a business, this is a great place to get started.
Have your Eureka moment today. That's pretty cool. I hope you all take advantage of that. So, to wrap it up, like any small business owner, I have experienced the pressures of building a company from the ground up. Building a base, meeting payroll, managing employees, balancing books, and meeting the government regulations. The City of Scottsdale is working harder than ever to create a better environment to support your small business. Perhaps you've heard it said that there's a story worth knowing behind every small business. It is the sum of those stories that help make Scottsdale so unique, a uniqueness we hope to preserve and nurture well into the future. Thank you. Now I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our Economic Development Director, Danielle Casey. Danielle took over our department just over a year ago, and we are delighted to have her energy and expertise. She's here to tell you about all the exciting things her department is up to. Danielle?
All right. Well, as I get up here, I just want to say I'm your last speaker. Well, I'm very short. I'm even with big shoes. I'm your last speaker before the headliner, and the restrooms are behind me. So if I see anybody sneaking back there, I'm assuming it's for that and not for bunny ears or shadow puppets. So anyway, thank you very much for the introduction, Vice Mayor. It's been quite a year. I appreciate the opportunity today to share with the audience just a quick update regarding what the Economic Development Department does for the community, the tools we use, and some of the results we saw last fiscal year. On a regular basis, I'm out in the community and meeting new people, and I get the question, what is it that you actually do in economic development anyway? You know, you guys are kind of flitting around doing this and doing that and talking to companies and having fun. Well, the definition that you hopefully should be seeing behind me, I'm certain, is one of the many results of the creation of a draft 5-year strategic plan framework for our economic development efforts. And it's a defined goal specific to Scottsdale's efforts because every community embraces economic development and treats it in a different way according to its community's needs and desires. Essentially, economic development teams wear many different hats, and all the programs are unique to their own communities. But across the board, I like to explain it with a couple main different functions, 3 of them. One would be providing information and assistance to companies that are interested in relocating or expanding or thinking about leaving, which is also something we have to be very cautious about at all times. We don't create new jobs in the Economic Development Department. I wish we did, but we help the companies that do. We're a resource for information on local demographics, public infrastructure and costs, real estate, taxes and regulation, quality of life, and other business support programs. And we use all of those tools to do this. We, number 2, market the community to target business industries that best suit the city's needs and desires. And we do this through a number of different ways, from print ads to recruitment initiatives, to trade shows, to trade missions with our partner organizations, lead generation, research, and also relationships with decision makers. And finally, we work with city leadership, elected officials, and of course our critical community partners to ensure that a positive business environment exists. There are a number of factors that help businesses thrive, from labor skills and availability, this is a very hot topic right now, access to universities, cost of doing business, regulatory environment, quality of life, ease of travel, the list goes on and on. Just a few examples of the services we offer to help address this environment include providing site selection assistance and data resources to new and prospective firms, small business training and programming, which the Vice Mayor shared with you, working to attract revitalization through reinvestment and infill, and even working to make sure that we have the best retailers looking at any empty space in the community, and through our partnerships with Eureka Loft and SkySong as examples. And this will be increasing in order to enhance our entrepreneurship efforts and support of second stage firms. So our goal overall as a department is to be a known go-to resource in Scottsdale for brokers, developers, site selectors, and existing and prospective companies looking at Scottsdale as a business location. So what were the results of these efforts? We measure our activity along with the city's fiscal year calendar, and for July 2013 through June 2014, we're very proud of the strong numbers that we have. So 86, that's the number of business retention and expansion visits we made, and these are specific calls at a company's office, going to them, finding out what's going on, how they're doing, and using that information to help support them and increase their chances of growth. 16 is the number of unique companies we assisted in expanding or locating in Scottsdale. And that seems like a small number. We interact with many, many more companies, but these are companies that actually, in writing, made a notation to say that our assistance was integral in their decision to move forward. So that's a big deal for us. 1,069, that's the number of new jobs created by those companies in the first 12 months of operation, according to their estimates. 2,381 are their estimates over 5 years. Good numbers, right? 47,874. That's the average wage of those jobs attracted in the first year. And this is a very important number that I think we sometimes lose sight of when we think about how many jobs did you get? Did you get thousands? Well, did you get quality jobs? And are those jobs bringing high wage incomes to the people coming in? So we're going to continue to increase these targeted goals along with our partners at GPEC and the ACA, who are doing tremendous work in supporting us. And over 200, there's a couple here. There were the number of attendees at the Cure Corridor event last year, and you're going to hear more about the upcoming one, which we're very excited about. It's also the number of people here today. We're well over 200. This is pretty cool for a Mayor Council breakfast. And it's also the number of YouTube hits that our pilot program of small business training programs saw in the first 5 months. 74% is the increase in website traffic after rebuilding our ChooseScottsdale.com economic development website, which I'm really pleased to announce won a Bronze Excellence Award from the International Economic Development Council just this week. So we got some national recognition, which feels good when you work really hard on something like that. So thank you. Yeah. And I need to credit our team, but also the media services team at the city, which did an unbelievable job. We did it all in-house. All this information can be found on ChooseScottsdale.com, and if you want a digital copy or a print copy, just let us know. So speaking of our Choose Scottsdale website, it was fully rebuilt and relaunched in 90 days last fiscal year. There's a ton of new data and research enhancements on it, new business tools, such as loop link commercial property listings, so folks can go on and see active listings right there on our site, restricted to Scottsdale locations, of course. And then also a new tool named Size Up that allows small to mid-sized companies compare their market and find new ways and locations to advertise and find new clients. Representatives of the business community and of our chamber were engaged in a focus group to give us some feedback, tell us what we missed and how we can continue to enhance it, which we do. And since its launch, we saw a 30% increase in new visitorship and a bounce rate decrease of 12%. If you know anything about bounce rates, that's good. That means people aren't going, oh wait, I didn't mean to go to your website. So one last major activity last year worthy of mentioning is the creation of our draft Economic Development Strategic Plan Framework. That's a lot of words. But after 300 plus business leaders in the community were interviewed, it has given us a recommended action agenda, clear target industries to go after, a comparative analysis of aspirational communities so we can benchmark our success, metrics, things that tell us how we should be measuring our performance and being accountable and transparent, and also an organizational capacity assessment. The draft is available for review. I can't say that word. And it'll be before the council for final consideration after any additional tweaks in the coming months. So please look forward to that. Finally, anybody wanting to know anything about this, or you want assistance from our economic development team, or if you want access to the great resources at Eureka Loft, please visit us at our new offices. We used to be in a building kind of away from some of the other main City Hall offices, and we are now in the Civic Center Library, co-located with Eureka Loft, which is a really cool and amazing thing. You've got this wonderful, innovative small business program in partnership with ASU that was launched last year, and economic development next door, and we are just now starting to get into great ideas for how we can partner and just make that space a tremendous buzz every day. So now I get the fun part. I get to introduce our headliner. And nobody's used the bathroom. Wow, you guys are really engaged. I had the distinct pleasure of hearing Mr. Paul Heller speak to Vanguard staff a few months back. And I can tell you from personal experience that not only is he a great speaker, but his passion for Vanguard and its employees and its mission shines very brightly. As one of Scottsdale's largest employers with over 2,500 local employees today, we checked on that number yesterday, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Still growing. Vanguard recently completed a 145,000 square foot renovation of existing space to accommodate its rapid growth, and that takes its total footprint to about 600,000 square feet or more of office space at the air park. I mean, that's impressive right there. So this year alone, they've added 296 employees in Scottsdale, with plans to create and fill another 62 by January. And last year alone, another 500 had come on board. Scottsdale is the company's second largest U.S. operation and home to about 20% of its domestic workforce. And in 1994, Vanguard expanded outside of Pennsylvania. So as the mayor noted, they've been here quite a while, and they're a huge presence in the community. They expanded outside of Pennsylvania to regional bases in Scottsdale and North Carolina. Globally, they employ more than 14,000. So a strong community partner in all of its location. Representatives of Vanguard are here even today as volunteers, and if you saw them in the green, hopefully you met them and thanked them. They are here just because they care about this event and wanted to support us, and we're just overwhelmed with that generosity. So thank you all very much. So they're here today to support. Hopefully you got to chat with them. Mr. Paul Heller, though, is the managing director of Vanguard's Retail Investment Group, the division responsible for its individual clients and small businesses. I know Vice Mayor likes that. Mr. Heller, who joined Vanguard in 1984, previously led the company's information technology group. He has a bachelor's degree from Tufts University and is a graduate of Harvard Business School's Advanced Management Program. He's made a special trip to Arizona to speak with you today, by the way. Please welcome me in joining Mr. Heller to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. It's too bad Danielle Casey lacks energy and enthusiasm. You can just tell she's not into her job at all. Wow, fabulous. Oh, it's such a treat to be here today with all of you. And I met the mayor, I guess just several months back, and we were doing, as Danielle explained, a dedication of a new building. It's our 5th building in Vanguard, and you even got your stats right, Danielle. That's what the facilities team said. We're up to 600,000 square feet, which seems like an awful lot to me. I'll come to that in a moment. But I discovered 2 things while I was doing the building dedication, which was a lot of fun. I don't know if anyone's ever done a building dedication, but you get those big scissors and, you know, the ribbon. And so I got to meet Mayor Jim Lane. And the 2 things I discovered right off the bat is, you know, I come out to Scottsdale, and by the way, Vanguard's based outside of Philadelphia. And we just adore Scottsdale, but we're also proud of our heritage in Philadelphia. So I discovered your mayor really is a local, not to you guys, but to us. He went to St. Joe's University. So we had an immediately strong connection. We hire a lot of young people out of St. Joe's University. Actually, a colleague and best friend of mine who runs our global division at Vanguard went to St. Joe's University. So we immediately hit it off. We had a great time. So I want to thank you, Mayor, for inviting me to come back and talk to this group. So that was the first thing I discovered. The second thing I discovered, because our facilities team was there, is how strong a support system you have, Mayor, and how strong your team is. Because I just have to tell you, we stood up this building. We were growing like a weed as a company. We needed this space. And we needed this space right here in Scottsdale. And it was a big project. And I think from the moment we thought about it till we were moving hundreds and hundreds of employees, we call them crew members, into the building, was literally a period of about 9 months. And I just want to give a shout out, Mayor, to a few of your team who were so helpful. Michael Clark, who's the Director of Scottsdale Business and Development Services, Stephen Galante, who is also in Development Services, Chiefs Jim Ford and Mark Zimmerman, who are Scottsdale fire and safety officials, and Chris Jones, City of Scottsdale Field Inspections, and I'm sure there were so many more. But seriously, it is so nice to be able to stand in front of an audience like this when you're trying to do something that is so important to you in business and just feel the full support of your team. So thank you. It was really great. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so I love Vanguard. I have to spend one moment on it. Don't worry, I'm not selling you guys. I love Scottsdale too, actually. It's really nice. I tried to convince my wife of 26 years to come with me on this trip. Often we're empty nesters now, so it's easier. She didn't come on this trip. I called her yesterday. Hi, honey, how's it going? We're having a nor'easter. Do you guys know what a nor'easter is? It's a lot of rain. And she's like, how's the weather in Scottsdale? I'm like, oh man, it's so beautiful. You should be here. Anyway, I love Scottsdale. I love Vanguard. And I want to just spend a moment on Vanguard. Vanguard's a very, very special company. We're an investment firm. We have millions of investors. 20 million people have chosen to invest with Vanguard, which is extraordinary to me. And we have the responsibility for an enormous amount of money on those people's behalf, $3 trillion. And we're different. We really are different than any firm in our industry. And the key difference is actually in how we're structured. We're very unusual. We're owned by our customers. We're like a great big co-op. We're not public. You can't buy stock in us. Some of you have probably heard of our founder, Jack Bogle. We started 40 years ago. He started Vanguard. He doesn't own us. We're not private. We're neither private nor public. We're owned by our customers. If any of you have an account at Vanguard, you own us. So what's so special about that? Two things really come out of that. One, if you're owned by your customers, you give all the profits back to them. That's what you do. So our firm has continually lowered its costs, and when we lower our costs, it just means people get better returns. But the really special thing is when you're owned by your customers, you care deeply about them. That's it. We have no other, there are no conflicts out there. I don't have to worry about quarterly earnings. I don't have to make some family fantastically wealthy who's the owner. All we care about is our client owners and doing the right thing for them. And that very special model has contributed to just tremendous growth for the firm, mind-blowing to us. I joined 30 years ago in 1984, and at that point, the firm had 350 people. Today we have 14,000. The firm had $9 billion. That seems like a lot of money in people's wealth, and today we have $3 trillion. And I'm not claiming cause and effect, although it's been a good run. It's a very, very special place. So our road to Scottsdale is kind of interesting. I wish I could tell you it was a great strategy thing. It wasn't. We had a really bad winter in 1994 in Valley Forge. I mean, it was horrible. Ice storms, terrible. And that's where we were. We were in Valley Forge. We didn't have many people. I remember, actually, I was on the institutional side of our business, and one of our great clients is Federal Express. I remember flying into Memphis. I had a 3-year-old at home, my wife. I'm flying into Memphis, and I'm looking down. I'm like, that's weird. There's planes all over the runway. We were the last plane to land in an ice storm. And I was with a team from Vanguard. One woman was pregnant. We were stuck there for 3 days. And again, I'm calling my wife looking for sympathy. But unfortunately, she was at home with our 3-year-old, and a tree had fallen across the driveway, and they couldn't get out. I was getting no sympathy. But we did get a generator. It's been great. But that's really what got us to Scottsdale some 20 years ago. And it's pretty remarkable. a colleague who's still at Vanguard, Martin Reel, adores Arizona and Scottsdale, and he got us started here. Martin works for me. He's approaching retirement. He's been at Vanguard 35 years at this point. And when Martin got us started, we had 40 employees. You know, it was a startup organization in Camelback. And today, as we heard, we have 2,500 employees. Now, I'm in finance, so, you know, that's a 5,000% growth rate. Now, truth be told, you won't find a Vanguard fund that had a 5,000% return over the last 20 years. You won't find any fund that has a 5,000% return over the last 20 years. So Scottsdale has been a very important part of that growth. And I really want to reflect on the why. So why has this firm called Vanguard been so successful, and why has Scottsdale been so important to our success? And I'll tell you, we focus so strongly on three constituents. We call them our 3 C's, and I want to reflect on those with you and the connection that we have to Scottsdale. And our 3 C's, our clients, are so important, and I've talked a little bit about that. Our crew, by the way, we have a nautical theme, okay? So our crew, 14,000 strong, and our community. And we couldn't feel better about being in this area when it comes to serving clients, when it comes to attracting great people, our crew, and providing an environment for them that is so rich, and supporting an important and vibrant community. So let me reflect for a moment. First off, clients. One thing that's very special about Vanguard is we have long-term loyal clients. They're really into it. We measure loyalty through things like Net Promoter Score. Would you recommend Vanguard to a friend or colleague? We have very high scores. I was driving back from the office yesterday. I'm staying at the Marriott in Camelback, and I drove by a Harley-Davidson dealer. Now, they're actually a Pennsylvania company, but they're one that's known for really loyal clients, right? Anyone know anyone who rides a Harley? They're into it. Our clients are really into it. I mean, none of them have tattooed Vanguard on their arm, but they're into it. So we have long-term, loyal clients. And this location has been incredibly important to us. And I'll just give you a few dimensions of that. One I've already mentioned. We had a bad winter in 1994. Guess what? We've had a lot of bad winters since. From a contingency standpoint, this location has been so important to our ability to pick up the phone, to run the websites, to answer the bell, so to speak. Just absolutely critical. Second, it was a perfect fit for us in terms of extending the day. By the way, Vanguard's largely a virtual company. We don't have offices all over the world. You don't go into an office and talk to someone at Vanguard. It's part of keeping our costs low. We tend to interact mostly over the web, but of course also through the phones. So we could choose to locate anywhere. And we've chosen in the US to locate in 3 places. Here, right outside of Philadelphia, and also in Charlotte. So this area has allowed us very much to supplement and extend our day. Supplement, it's so great. Everyone comes into the office in Arizona an hour before it's lunchtime in the East. Guess what? We get a ton of our phone calls at lunchtime. So we get a huge crew that comes in to help us. And of course, when our crew are going home on the East, Arizona's just having that cup of coffee in the afternoon and getting going. So that's huge. The other great benefit for us from a client standpoint, and I will tell you, I don't think we thought much about this, is just the Western presence that we have. I mean, we're here in Scottsdale, but it's just easy to jump on a plane and go out west. We have a large institutional business, companies who have Vanguard within their retirement plans. It's been enormously important to our growth in serving those clients who are out west. So from a client standpoint, Scottsdale and Arizona have been tremendously important. Let me turn from clients to crew, our employees. We have 14,000 incredible people. I mean it. In fact, I want to shout out and thank you very much for the nice call out to the Vanguard crew who are here helping out. But if you're part of the Vanguard team, can you just raise your hand? And can we give these people some applause, because they are really special people, seriously. I work with stunning colleagues. It's a firm that attracts people who care a lot. about a mission that we're on. We're on a mission, seriously, to just help people create wealth. And again, Scottsdale, and it's pretty noble because so many people are working hard out there to do the thing that they do. And there's a lot of conflicts out in financial services where people are being sold things they don't need or being taken advantage of. And again, we've got great alignment. And we tend to attract people into the organization who care a little bit more. So it doesn't surprise me that folks showed up this morning, thank you, that folks helped out. So for us, Scottsdale's been fantastic from a crew standpoint. Of our 14,000 crew, almost 20% of them work in the Scottsdale area. So it's not an insignificant part of our business at all. You mentioned some of the hiring statistics. We've been growing. This year we'll hire close to 400 people. Do you like that? Yeah. Last year we hired 500 people, and it's a great community to hire. I mean, we are just, forget the numbers, we feel we are attracting such a high caliber group of people into the organization. So it is an incredibly important base for us to attract talent. I would tell any company thinking about relocating that this is a great place to do just that. And our growth will continue. Actually, two dimensions. Part of our investment team, as you can imagine, we have people who are investment professionals. It's not a huge number of the people at Vanguard, and that team is actually just also relocating part of their organization out here, which is great. People love it in Arizona because obviously it's wonderful to have some of our investment professionals. Another part of our business that we're expanding dramatically, and we will do a lot of hiring, and certainly a lot of it will be in Scottsdale, is around an advisory business. When people go, most people use a planner in their life. So if you just asked 100 people, when it comes to your finances, do you work with a planner? 70 or 80, 7 or 8 out of 10 would say, I do, I work with a planner. Vanguard's really been known for people who generally don't work with planners. They're actually into this stuff. They read Money Magazine and they come to Vanguard and they go right to our website. But we're expanding our presence in the advice business, and we're trying to bring the cost down in that business and give people great access. So we're hiring lots of folks, training, and really making a push in the advisory space. And Scottsdale will be very important to us there as well. So a little bit on crew. Okay, so let me turn from clients and crew to community. And you know, Vanguard's a place where you really wouldn't want to work if you don't care pretty deeply about your colleagues, if you don't care really deeply about clients, and if you don't care really deeply about the community. We're just wired to care. And what's interesting is it's kind of been a virtuous cycle. If you attract really caring, capable people, they reach out and attract other caring, capable people. So from a community standpoint, we love Scottsdale because Scottsdale is a great, vibrant community. And it affords us tremendous opportunities to be a part of that community. And I'll just give you a few factoids. One of the things we do at Vanguard is we give every crew member a day off if they choose to, an extra day off just to volunteer in the community. And close to 2/3 of our Arizona crew chose to do that. So they directly volunteered in the community. We're very much behind United Way. Right here in this area, in the United Way, I guess it is, of Sun Valley, we raised close to $1 million this last campaign. We do something called All Cans on Deck. It's very competitive. Bring in food, largely in cans. Arizona brought in 160,000 pounds of food. That's 75 pounds per person. Yeah, it's just something. It's really something. Thank you. Let's see, we also are very involved in education. We're providing a virtual educational program called My Classroom Economy. It's a full curriculum. Teachers can take advantage of it. It's for grades K through 12. Over 2,000 kids in Arizona have been exposed to it in the past year. People volunteered to do tax forms. You can imagine we're pretty nerdy. We like financial stuff, so we spent 600 hours and filled out over 230 tax forms. I don't know if you like this or not, but people got $300,000 in refunds. I guess that's money going the wrong way. But sorry, just trying to help. On MLK Day, we're very much involved in the local community. Crew served 865 hot lunches at St. Vincent de Paul. We helped kids at a sports camp, 150 kids at risk. My favorite factoid when the team put this together, because you're just not going to get this in Pennsylvania, is the team harvested 16 tons of grapefruits for local food banks. We're just not harvesting grapefruits in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. So we do a lot of stuff, food drives and blood banks and can drives and toy drives and book drives, and Scottsdale's a fabulous place to do it. Scottsdale is just because when we reach out, the community is there, the community is supportive, and the community is really caring. So on those three themes, our clients, Scottsdale's been absolutely terrific for us, for our crew and growing our organization, and for being a part of a really vibrant and important community. So in closing, I want to just tell you how fortunate we feel that we discovered Scottsdale 20 years ago. I remember being in a meeting. We were trying to decide between Scottsdale and Denver. Remember, I told you we had a bad winter. Why would you go to Denver? So this wasn't some brilliance. It was like, it's a lot warmer in Scottsdale. And I am so glad we had a bad winter in '94, and we chose to locate in Scottsdale 20 years ago because we would do it all over again in a minute. When the mayor spoke at our ribbon cutting event, you mentioned, I guess it's the slogan, which is the most livable city. And I think it really is, if not the, it is one of the most livable cities. And for us being associated, I don't know that Philadelphia is the most livable city, but it's a great one too. But this is really one of the most livable cities, and it's just been so fantastic for us to attract people who are great people into a great organization. So I'll just end with saying, because this is a council breakfast, and this is really around business, that from a business perspective, we just do not feel we could have a stronger partnership. I mean, between the community, Mayor, with your organization, I bragged for a moment about our great team, and you have every right to brag about your great team. So with that, thank you. Thanks for your attention this morning, and we really, really appreciate the chance to talk a little bit about our experience in this great city. Thank you.
Paul, thank you so very much. And to have Vanguard here in our city is a great honor as well. We like to talk an awful lot about pairing up great companies with a great community. We feel we have that great pairing with Vanguard and with the city of Scottsdale as well. So thank you very much for all of that and for all of your efforts on the community side. One of the things that you mentioned, and that was your values, whether it's the constituents versus clients and the crew and the community. Those are all things that we think that also serve really very, very much so to be a pairing or a comparison with the way we feel about things. So again, thanks so very much. Very entertaining and very informative, and a great compliment to have you here. And it's, again, thanks so very much for being here, and thank you very much for participating with us.